Mitochondria and chloroplasts have similarities to bacterial cells, like having their own DNA, which is separate from the DNA found in the nucleus of the cell. Also, both organelles use their DNA to produce many proteins and enzymes required for their function. Another similarity is that the double membrane surrounds both mitochondria and the chloroplasts. The two organelles also reproduce like bacteria, replicating their own DNA and directing their own division. The last similarity is that they all have ribosomes. The ribosomes found also consist of large and small subunits bound together with proteins into one particle.
Anaerobic respiration breaks down molecules without the use of oxygen. It is fast and produces a negative 2 ATPs per every glucose molecule, while an aerobic respiration is breakdown using oxygen. It's slower than anaerobic and produces 36 ATP per every glucose molecule, since it doesn't only go through glycolysis like anaerobic, but in aerobic it goes through the Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain as well. This is a beneficial relationship since it's an efficient way to create ATP, and when the resources are low, it's still able to create ATP under no oxygen.
Since mitochondria and chloroplasts are said to have been pre-existing cells, they have two lipid bilayers that prevent proteins from diffusing into wrong areas. The inner lipid bilayer plays a major role in the compartmentalization and organization of the intercellular environment. Mitochondria has the following membranes: the food, vacuole membrane, and the purple bacterial membrane. Chloroplast has the outer membrane, inner membrane, and the thylakoid membrane, also the lumen. These membranes serve as capacitors of energy and metabolism. Membrane proteins have enzyme functions and carry out important metabolic reactions. Each membrane has a corresponding protein component, hence an enhanced function of metabolism. Endosymbiotic theory 1 occurred when a eukaryotic cell engulfed and absorbed another prokaryotic cell. This resulted in the eating of mitochondria by a bigger cell. Endosymbiotic theory 2 occurred when a eukaryotic cell engulfed and absorbed cyanobacteria, such as a smaller cell that undergoes photosynthesis. The endosymbiotic theory 2 resulted in the engulfing of a chloroplast by a bigger cell. Endosymbiotic theory 1 was thought to have occurred first, then followed by endosymbiotic theory 2. Both do involve the theoretic process of one cell absorbing genetic materials from a smaller pre-existing cell. All this was to increase the complexity of the resulting reunion.
Can the endosymbiotic theory be compared to an event in history, say like the Neolithic Revolution or even the Declaration of Independence? In the endosymbiotic theory, a large prokaryote engulfed a non-photosynthetic prokaryote and a photosynthetic prokaryote. The non-photosynthetic prokaryote became what we call mitochondria. The photosynthetic prokaryote became chloroplasts. Now, how exactly does this relate to the Neolithic Revolution and the Declaration of Independence? The Neolithic Revolution laid down the groundwork for the development of civilizations, which in turn helped create empires, countries, and then colonies, similar to the large prokaryote in the endosymbiotic theory. Mitochondria and chloroplasts in the colonies. In the late 1700s, after the French and Indian War, Britain began to heavily tax the colonists. The colonists were angered by this and started to revolt, leading to the American Revolution. The colonists were influenced by the Enlightenment movement in Europe. The influence can be seen in the rights of the people, the consent of the governed, and the idea that the government is to protect the rights of the people and their right to overthrow said government. Those rights gave energy to the movement for independence, much like the function of mitochondria, which releases energy through cellular respiration. The Enlightenment ideas spread throughout the colonies, giving the motivation, the energy to develop a strong rebellion and continue the revolution. Just like the function of chloroplast, which captures energy to perform photosynthesis. The ideas multiplied and spread throughout the colonies, forming groups of people fighting for independence. They gathered together using the ideas released and captured to ultimately create the Declaration of Independence, which in the endosymbiotic theory was the creation of a eukaryotic cell.